We're driven by the search for better. But when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Leveraging over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, Indeed's matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences, so the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. Join more than 3.5 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Just go to Indeed.com/Blue Wire right now and support our show by saying that you heard about Indeed on this podcast. That's Indeed.com/Blue Wire. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Welcome, everyone, to the Sickos Committee Podcast. This is our podcast for the evening of January 21st, 2025. The game is over. Ohio State has been crowned King of Kings, Shah of Shahs, and I guess now it's their year. Do we have to celebrate them?
I guess it is kind of appropriate that this year is the year of the snake and Ohio State won the championship.
That's mean. They just won the championship, Pitt Girl. Leave Ohio State alone.
No.
I mean, some of them want Ryan Day fired still.
I for one am thrilled about Ohio State winning a national championship. I've been rooting for them all along. I like the movie I Am Wrath, starring John Travolta, filmed and set in Columbus, Ohio, and it's just great to see them, get over that hump that they've been struggling to get over for like a decade now. And I don't know, I thought it was like a fitting conclusion to this college football season. I did have some thoughts that we'll get to later in terms of what a college football national championship is very different now with this 12-team playoff, but we can get to that later. We don't need to talk about that now. Congrats to Ohio State. They deserved it. They were the best team. And, they didn't win all their games this year, but once the playoffs started, they locked in and they got it done when it counted.
What I will say that is nice about Ohio State is this. Congratulations, Ohio State. You now have the same number of national championships as Pitt. It took you so long to get here. But you did it.
So this is Ohio State's fourth national championship, I believe. No?
9.
Is it 9?
It is 9.
Why did I see such a low number last time?
Is there a different one where it depends on the selector? Because I think Jason Kirk had something different.
Okay.
Split Zone said 9 today.
Okay.
They claim 9.
They claim 9.
They claim 9, and there's 7 that are unclaimed.
Okay. So according to Jason Kirk's thing here, 17 Yale, 15 Princeton, 12 Alabama, 11 Notre Dame, including 1953, 7 USC. That's the one in California, South Carolina. No, sorry. 6 Michigan and Oklahoma. 5 Harvard, Minnesota, Nebraska, and now Ohio State. 4 seems like the group that you want to be a part of, I think. This seems like the party group here.
The 4 might be when he went through and he tried to assign a specific winner for each year. That might be a part of his project. I think he did that.
Okay, so is updated consensus national championship count with all work shown in this link. So this is according to Jason Kirk. Well, I mean, he is the godfather of the committee, so a Commish emeritus, so to speak. 4 seems like the party group that you want to hang around with, I think. So 4 is Georgia, LSU, Miami, Penn, and Pitt.
All right, I'm in.
All right.
I'm in.
This seems like the group that you want to hang with. The Ohio State just left the group, so now that group is so much cooler.
I do want to hang with the Toast Zamboni. I will say that.
Yeah, you want to do that. 3, according to him, is Army, Clemson, Florida, Florida State, Georgia Tech, Illinois, Tennessee, and Texas.
Okay.
And then you have 2, which is Auburn, Cal, Penn State. I don't think you want to be titles. Auburn and Cal seem, then like Penn State's like, why am I here?
Right.
Which is
Penn
great.
State, you know damn well why you're here.
That's right. And 1 is Arkansas, BYU, Chicago, Cornell, Maryland, Michigan State, Ole Miss, Sewanee, that he credited. he credited Sewanee, Syracuse, A&M, and the Washington Huskies.
Okay.
So that's the list of things that.
Well, first off, I would like to say though that we don't have a clear national title this year.
We don't,
because Reddit CFB found that I believe it is the Peter Wolf mathematical rankings. Oregon is still number 1.
Okay.
And Peter Wolf's system is a major selector.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can put a big asterisk on this Ohio State national title and split it with Oregon. Oregon gets there first.
Congratulations, Ducks. Claim it.
Claim it, Oregon. And then, like, I know somebody, like, put in the things, like, they don't claim this. And I was like, Oregon, I mean.
Not with that attitude, they don't.
Not with that attitude. Back in the day, Oregon was national champs.
For the record, I don't condone this.
You don't need to. I'm going to start sending them like Christmas cards and being like, congratulations on your national title.
It is the editorial policy of this podcast that if you have a claim, you should claim it. Claim it.
I mean, I'm not going to fight y'all on this one, just like I'm not going to correct you every time you call the duck puddles. But I just, for me personally, like, I am not going to, this doesn't count in my record book.
I want, like, somebody in, let's just say, like, 97. Like, just like, hey, this was completely unfair to Oregon. And just basically is like, hey, they beat Ohio State. This playoff bracket has been changed so many times. They got it wrong so many times. And Oregon was, a guinea pig. They never got the home game. Now it's like whatever iteration it is. And they should have gotten the home game. And they already defeated this team. So they eliminated that possibility from ever happening in the future. And it just, then they just debated, like, they were undefeated. They should have the title. And retroactively, 75 years later, people honor this 2025 national championship winning Oregon team.
By the way, I'm Jordan, and with me tonight, I have Commish, Pitt Girl, and Arthur on the 1s and 2s. We continue now. And look, another one of our friends showed up too. Hi, Beth.
Hi. A new Dragon Smut book came out tonight. I have a lot of lesson planning, and I had a migraine this evening. One of those is the reason I was late today.
Did your book actually arrive?
Hang on a moment. I have a thing to show you.
Wait, what is this?
There's some sort of thing.
Oh, yes.
What the?
Yours actually arrived?
Look, I got the pretty one.
I pre-ordered that one and it's not here yet.
My brand new in-town bookstore has 6 of them in stock.
Ooh. See, I could have gone to Barnes & Noble for the midnight release last night, but I already had a pre-order and I thought it would show up today. And then because it is literally 4 degrees, Amazon was like, no, it's not going to come today.
I love that you and I are learning things about each other right now.
and we're honestly learning things because I have no idea. It looked like there was dragons on the book.
There are dragons on the book,
okay.
Yes.
I have no idea what this is.
Okay.
It's a dragon?
You said dragon smut?
I mean, your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Is it Shades of Dragon? I mean, what's going on here?
No.
You know what? I'm going to let you continue to believe that.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I'm much happier to just let you guys remain in limbo. Listener, if you know, you know.
My desires are unconventional. They are dragons.
Based on the only team that has a dragon mascot in FBS, I'm assuming it's Trent Dilfer erotica.
Oh no, Dilfsaster.
What a bad idea.
That's a very bad idea.
So let's talk about last night's game because it starts out with a banger. Can I talk about a young woman who stole the hearts of America? She was the sign language interpreter from the Georgia School of the Deaf, I believe.
Yes.
And she signed for, I think, America the Beautiful. Her name, ladies and gentlemen, is Georgia Peaches.
I mean,
let me get this on for you here.
Could you be more apt for this game? Just totally appropriate for this.
This is Georgia spelled Johorgia. And then Peaches as you would expect.
This isn't like a stage name. This is like her given name.
I assume
I'm going to believe that, yes. I don't know how a sign language interpreter would have a stage name.
She's 14 years old.
And she's from the School of the Deaf. Okay, maybe. I don't know.
But she was introduced as Georgia Peaches twice, which I did a double take because I only heard it and was like, this can't be real. And it was, and it's amazing.
I respect that. I completely missed all of this. I know we're not doing How Are You today, but listener, I just need you to know before we get further into discussing the national championship game that I missed almost the entire first quarter of the game because I was on on a Zoom paint and sip with Obnoxiously Pitt boyfriend and some of our friends painting a possum. So, you know,
in a flower of some sort of vine, I believe.
Yes, a flowering vine. It was supposed to be a hibiscus, but the instructor did not show us what she was doing. She only described it to us. So everyone's came out very differently.
I also missed it because I was waiting to get a table at my local 409 Penn State Wins themed sports bar.
Do you think that they're ever going do you think they just put in like a bulk order for those napkins or do they buy new ones every so often?
It's been like 14 years.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like he's winning any more games, so they're probably good for a while.
So they just have a warehouse full of napkins somewhere.
But also they're not good ever. I'm going to start making napkins that say I'm 6'11" since numbers don't matter.
Okay, I love that. Just take them with you when you go there.
Yeah.
Some other things from this game. You guys talked about the first quarter. I'm going to move the This Was Roommates Down thing for a moment. The first quarter, I wish I could tell you it was action-filled and drama-packed. People who didn't watch the first quarter, how many drives do you think happened in the first quarter?
I mean, I know about I didn't see the 10-minute drive, but I know about it. So I'm assuming 2.
1.5, we'll say, because Ohio State's bled over.
Ohio State didn't finish in the first quarter, yeah.
Yeah, I leaned over and saw that Notre Dame was winning, and I was like, how did that happen? And now I know.
This Odyssey, 18 plays, 75 yards, 9:45 off the clock, and involves 2 fourth-down conversions.
Mm-hmm.
That was, I was like, okay, Notre Dame came to play.
Yep. A sign that Notre Dame's offense was firing on all cylinders, that everything was going to work today.
Now,
right.
There was a problem with this plan, though.
Uh-huh.
As a young Riley Leonard, a man whose heart outweighs sometimes the physical gifts he's given, basically took this drive on his shoulders and did it himself. And at the end of this drive, celebrated by booting. Vomiting.
It worked for Cam Scatterbo.
Riley didn't necessarily recover that fast as Cam did.
You mean to tell me that Notre Dame students aren't as good at the boot and rally as Arizona State students?
Just to be honest with you, Riley Leonard did the Mina Kimes tweet the entire drive, which Mina Kimes posted the Ralph Wiggum diving headfirst through the window and basically saying, "I'm a brick." That's what he did on multiple runs. And he ran, I think, 9 times in the first drive, and he ran for the touchdown. But everybody kept remarking, like, he looks gassed. He looks awful. Like, how is he still running? And then the final one to get the touchdown, like, the offensive line must have recognized how gassed he looked because there was a wide open hole and nobody touched him. And then he went to go throw up on the sidelines, which is great.
He was looking like I do. Like, let's say I have a big dog, right? I do. Julep is a large lady. And same thing of like, we're going to go out, we're going to run real fast for that first quarter mile. And then, oh no. Oh, that's a lot of running. I'm not so sure about that anymore. I'm going to sit here. Yeah, it was that.
Mm-hmm.
Just lots of energy up front and then realizing, oh no, there's 3 more quarters of this.
Marathon, not a sprint.
That's right.
They were talking on the broadcast of like how they wanted Riley Leonard to, maybe get 16 carries in the whole game.
Yeah.
The first drive.
Yeah.
Just wild shit.
So does it work when you build the whole plane out of Riley Leonard while Riley Leonard is also trying to make weight?
It works for 10 minutes.
It works for one drive.
Okay.
Towards the end again, too, when he had some time to take a breather. But this was Notre Dame. Boom. Got it. Love this. Dig in, right? First quarter lasted all of like 45 minutes, maybe, in real time.
Yeah.
Flew by. And then this thing turns into Ohio State just creating space. Quinshon Judkins just like running over fools. We were back to this.
It was the first half where after this one drive that Notre Dame was spent, Riley Leonard spent. They didn't get a first down the rest of the half.
Yeah,
they went 3 and out punt, 3 and out punt, one play and a half. So, and they're down 21-7 because Ohio State, gets a touchdown, basically like a bit of a dagger, I would say, to go up 21-7. They scored with like around 30 seconds left in the first half to make it 21-7.
So here's the wild thing is that each of these Ohio State drives, they go the full length of the field, man. None of these are short. It's like 75 yards, 80 yards, 75 yards every time. And, taking up clock, Riley Leonard had time to rest. My biggest worry, my nightmare was that Ohio State was going to get the ball for that giant drive, score in 2 plays.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're just going to send him, go ahead, buddy, slap on the ass, get back out there.
Back into the contraption.
I was worried about that. This thing turns into a bit of a slog in the second half. It finally sort of wakes up a little bit. I was at 31-7. I think I was like, this is real cooked.
Well, we said that in the chat. We're like, well, we're done. We're done. Good night, everybody.
Time to play Zelda.
I don't know many teams that are built to come back from like 14 plus down against Ohio State. Notre Dame, those teams.
No, that team does not exist. Not against Ohio State.
Well, I mean, I think watching Ohio State this season, it's not a question of being a team that can come back for that. It's a question of Ohio State letting you back into the game because their offense has been really good pretty much every game that I've seen them outside of that Michigan game. And if you remember, not just in this game, right, but like the Texas game especially, there are times when it feels like the only thing that can stop Ohio State is Ohio State. Like yes, the defense on the other team needs to play quite well, but stopping Ohio State is about like them committing penalties, them making the mistakes to not keep the chains moving. And that was kind of what I felt like a lot of the second half was. Notre Dame, their defense played really well given what they were asked to do against that Ohio State offense. But Ohio State, I mean, like they didn't execute with the same precision that they executed in that first half, with the exception of, they had the big play that, really kind of sealed the game for them. But I mean, they could have made this less of a game than it was.
Commish, where did that first drive land in sort of like the longest drives of the year.
Didn't even make the top 10.
I know. Yeah,
I know you posted a tweet. I was like, "It's wrong. It's wrong."
My apologies. I knew you had the numbers,
and I was just like, "No." They were like, that drive was as like took more time off the clock than all but 2 of Army's drives this season. And I was just like, "No, I did Substack on this," and Army had 4 scoring drives longer than that drive. And then Army even had a non-scoring drive that ended in a punt longer than that drive.
Yes.
So, I mean, like Army had like a punt possession against North Texas that took 14 plays, 46 yards, time of possession 10 minutes and 50 seconds. That was a full minute. That was a full minute longer than the Notre Dame drive that almost killed Riley Leonard.
Commish, I just need you to know that I imagine you appearing in this thread to say that Jordan is wrong, saying you're wrong in the way that Marissa Tomei does in My Cousin Vinny.
Mm-hmm.
I need to.
The defense is wrong.
The defense is wrong. You are wrong. It was like I saw Jordan retweet it. I was like, wait, this is incorrect. And I was like, I immediately go to the Substack, and then just basically I was like, no, actually, no. This is no.
The defense is wrong.
The defense is wrong. This is this model of the Buick, whatever that was in My Cousin.
1962. Yes, it's a Buick, metallic mint green Buick Skylark.
That's right. So yes, I was like, no, this is no. There's. I was like, man, no. North Dakota had a field goal drive longer than this, and it was kind of that weird knowledge that I built up over the entire year. Over these Substacks that I would do, and I was like, no, this is right up my wheelhouse. Like, you have no idea, like you're entering in, my left-handed batting stance, like low and inside. I'm like, that's you grooved one for me right there. So I was like, no, oh man, I was like, okay, no, and I almost wanted to pull up the entire spreadsheet because I know there's. Like the longest in the top 10 drive that I had was 10 minutes, and it was Army. They had 10 minutes and 44 seconds. So you still had a full minute of room to work there with additional drives. Army could have showed up there again, but I stopped at 10. I don't want to list them all out, but yeah, there was a few, and then Tim was like, "Hey, what do you mean I didn't have that?" I was like, "Well, this was postseason, this was conference championship," and I'm like, this one was Rice, which your data probably missed Rice.
That happens
because it's food.
Hey, but you know who loves us enough to tag us in their Instagram photos? Rice Football.
That's right.
We love you too, Rice.
Commish, you and I are gonna have to do a Rice game this year. Like,
I did go over.
You broke in, yeah, but
yeah, I didn't know. There's a walkway right there. There's no gate. You just walk right there.
I mean, but Rice is a private university, so they could have tossed you anyways. But anyways,
I was just on campus. I was just on campus, man. I'm allowed to be on campus.
No gods, no mayors.
That's right.
Do crimes.
No gods,
do crimes.
So in the middle of the third quarter, watching this game, my friends who I was with just looked at me and they're like, "You look so sad all of a sudden. Like, why are you so sad?" And I'm just like, I wish Cam Scadaboo was here.
Yes.
Something. Give me something.
Give me something.
Because I will say, Commish, I know you have numbers on this, but when I saw Notre Dame line up for a field goal.
Oh, I'm so mad.
Oh my God.
I started yelling at the TV and the people across from me at a different table were like, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not okay."
I had a conversation with my actual job boss about
y'all
how
go.
dumb this
y'all
was.
Go with this one. I'm going to take the other side, but y'all go.
I don't know, man. It's the national championship game. Try to win the game.
Excuse me, ma'am. The numbers say something different.
Shut up, nerd.
Super nerd Commish Escalante is now going to read numbers at us.
I'm not reading numbers, but okay.
Only it's super 1% better.
I will get nerdier on you then, because I'm going to reference one of them comic book movies. When Doctor Strange, right, when he's looking at that stone thing or whatever, and he's like, I'm looking for like the one scenario where we win, right? I mean, that's what I always come back to in situations like this. Like, yes, the math says, X is going to have a better probability because it's factoring in, do you make it or do you miss it? But to me, like, I just want to think about the make, right? And in fact, if you look at the numbers, which are linked in the show notes here, we'll probably drop them in the Discord channel. But if you look at the percentages, right, you can see, okay, it says field goal attempt is 3%, going for it is 2%. But if you go for the field goal and get it, that's only at 3%. If you go for the touchdown and get it, that's 7%. If you're Notre Dame, you're playing against Ohio State, you gotta just say, hey, we gotta get the 7%.
I'll go you one further on this. I mean, okay, so it says on here on the stats that this is based on Ben Baldwin's NFL fourth down model. But you're assuming that, like, Notre Dame can pull off multiple drives in what is going to be like 3.5 minutes.
Yes.
Have you watched this team?
Right. The facts are not in evidence for that particular theory.
Like, this is a truck that likes to put it in four-wheel low and drive over you slowly. It's not a little meep car. It's not that kind of car.
I think, like, I can see kicking the field goal. I know from the pure, like, analytics standpoint, it takes a 2-possession game and makes it a 2-possession game. But it does mean that you don't have to do the 2-point conversions, right? And I mean, you kind of think, like, okay, what are the odds of Notre Dame? They'd already hit 1 2-point conversion in the game. What are the odds of them going 2 for 2, assuming they score touchdowns and don't give up any more points? And if we look at how the game played out, right, Notre Dame did actually get a stop after that, and they proceeded to score, right? Had that field goal gone in, then what ended up being an 8-point game, it would have probably been a 6-point game instead. And then, you are in a better situation than you would be had you gone for the touchdown and not gotten it. I like I said, I like aggressive coaching. I like aggressive calls there. Like, I can see the math behind it. I don't think this, like, we've seen in the past some truly egregious ones where, like, the math isn't even a toss up or in, this wasn't that. Like, it was more, I feel like it was more personal preference for me.
Let's see where it's from here, because it's 4th and 9 on the 10.
Well, 4th and goal on the on the 10. So it's like you basically you got to get 10 yards in a cramped end zone against an incredible defense, Ohio State. You figure that the Notre Dame kicker is going to make it and make the 27-yarder, which, we got a championship doink, which was nice.
I appreciated the content for us.
We appreciated the content.
We do like a doink.
We do like a doink. So, I mean, what Arthur was saying is basically what I'm going to echo here. You're down 16. You kick the field goal. Now you're down 13. Now you have a path to victory. Because if you're down 16, you get the touchdown. Basically, you're just playing for a tie. If you get the field goal, you have a path to victory, because if you get 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points, you win by 1.
The path to victory.
Which that's the path to victory. If you just go for the touchdown and you get the 2-point conversion, you're still on a path for tie. And what do, Herm Edwards?
You play to win the football game. You play to win the game.
You play to win the game. That's a way to win it in regulation and not take your chances on random 2-point conversion number generators, not take your chances in the wacky college football overtime system that you can hope to win a toss and go on defense first.
And you burn through all your 2-point plays, God forbid.
True. I mean, I do feel like we're kind of skipping the fact that Notre Dame's kicker is a little like, we all forgot that the kicker was kind of questionable because he did pretty well in the playoffs until last night.
He was injured.
No, he was injured. The backup kicker was back, but the main kicker was back for this game.
Okay.
So their kicking was really bad all year until they got their main kicker back. Like, Mitch Jeter was, I think for the year, he was, he was pretty bad. Sorry. 13 for 21.
Not great.
Man, he was 2 for 4 on 20 to 29-yard field goals.
Oh,
that's not great.
Not good. He was better from 40 to 49 yards than he was from. He was just too close. He was the Harrison Mevis kicker, the thicker kicker. Like he liked to be from really, really far away from a zoo.
I like those long putts.
I like the long putts. The ladies love the long drives and putts and field goals. That's right. They're not here for your 27-yard field goals.
LLLP. Ladies love
long putts. And I cannot lie.
I think that we did not have the Goodyear blimp at the game. We had a plane circling around. They didn't ever claim it was a Goodyear blimp, so everyone get your pitchforks down. But remember the Discord, AJ Kuftik figured out that the plane did 123 total loops of the stadium.
Okay.
It's in the air for 5 hours and 37 minutes. That's just so much time.
It's a lot of looping.
You feel like the pilot gets dizzy up there. It's a lot of circles.
Just taking a hard left. Because look at the track. It's in the show notes. It's just circles, man. There's not much else to do. Helicopter, you can like go up and down, do a little more left or right. It's just circles, anyways. And then after this is all over, we have a car accident inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The video of this is just like comical.
Can I get a clip of this with the "Oh no" disaster audio on it?
Oh
please?
gosh, that would be.
Drop the idea thread, please.
Yep.
Please, somebody make a picture of Ryan Day in a neck brace at the victory parade.
Bobby Petrino, Ryan Day after the golf cart incident.
Jesus.
She broke the steering column too of it. It got stuck against the wall. Like it was just not.
Yeah, no, my favorite part of this is her being like, "Oh, it's fine. I'm just going to put it in reverse and drive away." When it's very clearly totaled insofar as you can total a golf cart.
Like just I worked at a golf course for so many times. Yeah, just basically she just wrecked the whole 2 front wheel turning. Like just the steering's done on that. Yep. You can fix it, but it ain't a quick fix.
Is there golf cart insurance?
Yes,
because I bet you I see some really fancy ones that are street legal around here.
Yes, there is golf cart insurance, and insurance does cover the golf cart.
Entire parallel universe of golf cart claims adjusters.
No, they're handled with the normal auto claims.
Okay.
It's weird as hell, but it is.
Hey, Beth, does anyone have a street legal golf cart up in your neck of the woods?
So I don't think you can have a street legal golf cart in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The better question is, since you have been to where I live, is to ask, does anyone care if something is street legal here?
Fair. Very fair.
I mean, the correct answer is no.
There's got to be like an ATV, like a Polaris, that is just street legal.
Oh, I've been stuck in traffic on the interstate behind ATVs.
Yeah, okay, I mean, you get people like trolling around in a gator. You got stuff like that. There was an elderly man who lived up the hill from where I grew up who occasionally would go to church on a tractor.
Yep.
Okay. That's amazing.
Horses and buggies are a thing here. You know that.
Oh, yes. One time I got stuck in what I like to call a Lancaster County traffic jam, which was 3 buggies and a school bus.
You tried to go somewhere on a Saturday, didn't you?
I didn't. This was on a weekday.
Oh,
it was actually in York County. Living the life.
The quotes from this event, Will Howard said, "It was pretty funny, Coach Jay. I hope you're all right. He got jolted a little bit." And Ryan Day said, "I'll send my medical bills to the CFP." Oh, my neck, my back.
I honestly, man.
What? When you're in a car accident, what happens to you? You hurt your neck, you hurt your back.
This Buckeye's cracked.
Is there a Kid Spot version of that song?
Oh God, I hope not.
I think there is.
I don't know. Now I'm just thinking about how my back felt great in my rental car because, my rental car this weekend in Atlanta had the massaging seat.
Ooh.
I was like it was life-changing. That's crazy. So I feel like that's what you need to not have back pain in your car.
I do know, while we are looking to find out if there is a Kid Spot version of this song, that there is a sort of like soul, like swing version of this song by an artist named Richard Cheese, who just does like swing covers of pop songs.
Doesn't appear to be a Kids Bop version. There's a lot of people asking for one. There's somebody who did a TikTok, and then there's like several parodies.
There's one that says on Reddit, it's like crazy ideas. A Kids Bop version of My Neck, My Back. It goes my shirt, my pants, my jacket, and my hat.
Someone else tried My Neck, My Back, My Apple Juice and Snacks.
I mean,
I like that one.
That's good. Yeah. Kids Bop version of My Neck, My Back.
Okay, sorry. Distraction. Did the Goodyear blimp like us? Is that something that happened? Or is that my Goodyear blimp thing? That was me talking about Goodyear blimp.
Yes.
Next
I mean, we know the Goodyear blimp likes us. They went to all the effort of making the Blimpos graphic.
I mean,
and we like them.
We're working on this. This might be a thing. This might be fun. If the opportunity presents itself, I will swallow my pride and do it.
Pitt Girl, we can have a Skyvalry.
I feel like that should be what being rivals with Air Force is called.
Is this a Dragon Smut thing again?
I mean,
no!
Is Skyvalry something in that book?
This also presumes Air Force has any command of the skies, which after this year I would question.
It's true.
Fair. Today was a beautiful day where it snowed across a lot of regions, like near the Gulf of... And
No, we're not doing that here.
Checking my notes here, sorry.
It is the editorial position of this podcast that all geographical names remain the same as they were on January 19th, 2025 until further notice.
I've never mailed someone a spray bottle before.
Some nerd went through and community noted everything about the snow thing that included the Gulf of Mexico, and community noted being like, excuse me, sir, it's in 30 days, this will have to be called blah, blah, blah. It was really...
Is it 30 days from now yet, motherfucker? No? Then shut up.
Simmer down, Rand McNally.
It's been snowing from like the panhandle of Florida all the way to Houston and like almost to San Antonio. And that, of course, means we get beautiful snow stadium pictures.
Yeah.
And I did a call from this morning. Some of the Lamar football was like, they told us not to drive to the stadium. And eventually we got a picture.
Yeah.
Rice football asked for some time.
I was like, if you're safely able to get these snow stadium photos, please do this.
Mm-hmm.
We need these as a society. You know, there's no football, but seeing snow in like stadiums in the South with like helmets, with the angry wave looking angry at the snow itself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's what we need. And
but why? Why do we like this?
It's just
what is it?
It's soothing.
Snow.
It's snow, man. It's snow in places that it's never really there.
I mean, it's another sign of, you know, that this, now that we have a larger playoff, the winner of the playoff gets to, you know, make bigger decisions, apparently including the weather. All are Ohio.
Oh, no.
This does feel like the Big Ten and the SEC made a trade. Roger Sherman mentioned this.
Mm-hmm.
This feels like a trade of being good at college football and snow between the Big Ten and the SEC.
I think it's worth trading for snow. Snow's pretty.
I think my favorite part was seeing things like the beaches with snow, because beach and snow is such a bizarre thing in my neck of the woods. Like that seems impossible. So beaches and snow, just, it's beautiful. I love to see it.
My favorite thing, and it is not close, is the guy with the airboat.
Oh yeah.
Snow airboat. Snow airboat, you are my hero.
Oh my
Commish,
god!
thank you for making the Freebird edit of Snow airboat.
I found
that's
the
exactly
video.
What we all need.
I found it Snow airboat. I found it. And then I was like, okay, this needs to go like on the other side. Like I have to get this over here like immediately, because you know, if there's anything, I'm bringing fun stuff over, whatever, to the sky area, and you know, I posted it. I was like, you want to see this? I'm like, yes. And then like someone's like, you need to put the Freebird edit, and I'm like, okay, fine, I will do Freebird. Done. It was amazing, and you could hear like the airboat revving, and then Blue Sky does the thing where you can have fun for about an hour, and then here comes like the Debbie Downers.
Yeah, the fun
Like,
haters arrive.
The fun haters arrive. It's like, while this may look like fun, just wait. Think about those nurses and everybody that has to like deal with stuff like this when there's accidents with airboats spinning on snow. And I'm like,
have you never done donuts in a parking lot? Fun hater.
No, probably not from the sounds of it.
no, it's too dangerous.
That's how you learn to drive in snow.
Yeah. Parking lot donuts, the best thing.
That is safer than learning the hard way.
Yep. Go into a parking lot and make mistakes.
And man, the Cajun Navy needed to learn how to ice fish.
Yes.
All right. The Cajun Navy needed to go. And that's the key. The airboat, he needs to learn. Maybe somebody is stuck out there on the water and the airboat needs to come rescue them. So, I mean, why not set it to Freebird while he's doing donuts on an airboat? Why not do that?
Or as they would call it in Minnesota, and I kid you not, whipping shitties.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, we're whipping shitties in our airboat. Toot toot, get out of the way.
I love all the French Canadian followers we have from like Montreal. We're like, hey, it looks like our cousins from the South are finally getting a taste of our weather.
I think we should do more cultural exchange between Louisiana and Quebec. I feel like everyone would be just so much happier because I feel like those are two cultures that absolutely are simpatico. Like long lost cousins. This reminds me.
Poutine, clap, 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 clap.
Beth, in Avatar: The Last Airbender, was it the Foggy Water Tribe? The Foggy Swamp Tribe?
Oh yes, the swamp water butters.
Yeah.
Right, when they show up. And they're just like, brother. And it's wonderful because they're waterbenders too, just their own kind.
Just Cajun waterbenders.
That's exactly what they are.
Do you think I could use an airboat to get to work?
I mean, why not?
I never considered it as a valid form of transit.
Just one thing. I was like, I don't know how you stop.
You put another fan on the front and you turn it on when you want to stop.
The same way you stop in snow. You just
you turn it off and you wait.
Turn it off and wait.
I'm gonna say a real stupid sentence, y'all, and it is, I guess water doesn't have hills, so you don't have to worry about going down a hill.
Yeah, that's the question. Can I climb a 1,200-foot mountain?
Jordan, what do you think a wave is?
I know that's not. Oh,
all right. New X Games idea: downhill airboating.
I would want
new
Winter Olympic sport.
Hell out of that.
Let's do it.
We
need airboat cross.
Hey, girl, you and I had an interaction with a friend of ours, Georgia is a verb, where he suggested, because I was drinking during the game last night, was drinking Fernet, my favorite drink. And someone brought up other bitter things, including Beverly, an Italian bitter soda that was served at World of Coke to gross people out.
Hell with is still served.
And I like that too. And he suggested a Fernet and Beverly cocktail.
Oh.
And like the most bitter thing ever. And I got really excited about that idea.
It's distillate of earwax. Enjoy.
So that's going to happen. That's going to happen soon, right?
Yes, it has to.
You're going to have to like order.
Floater.
We need to boil this down and make it thicker.
Katie, friend of the show, Katie had Fernet ice cream somewhere. She said it was very good. And I assume they just reduced it down until.
Honestly, I can see that because Fernet's like the thing that is weird to me about Fernet, and part of why I don't dislike it, but I don't like it, and it's because it's minty. But I can see that working as ice cream.
It does have that feeling of like I just brushed my teeth.
It's a little toothpastey. It's a little I just had orange juice and now I am brushing my teeth.
Okay, so here we go. A recap of the year. There were 798 FBS versus FBS games this year. That's so many.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
That's so many. The average score was 34.9 to 18.8. And if you ask yourself, if I had a game that ended 35-18, I'd be like, there was enough scoring in that game. That feels good to me. 31 games ended with a 1-point score differential. That's 3.8% of all the FBS versus FBS games. I asked another question to our followers, by the way, because I saw about games from this year that no longer make sense, or they're even more puzzling in context. And Purdue's 1-point loss to Illinois in overtime is a game.
I've never forgotten that game.
I had memory hold that one like crazy.
That's when Purdue let their like young QB loose because Hudson Card got hurt, and he went nuts. And then they was like, "Oh, Hudson Card's back. Let's go back to Hudson Card." No offense, Hudson Card.
One game ended with a 71-point differential.
Mm-hmm.
That was Kent State, Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the largest differential this year.
That was the game that was it UTEP or Kent State where the Tennessee punter did the Heisman after pinning him down on the wall.
That was UTEP.
It was UTEP? Okay, all right. Just checking. Couldn't remember which one it was, but that was great. Yeah.
13 games were 50-point blowouts. And the average point differential was 16 points, basically. Which, again, like that feels like a good competitive game. And no team scored exactly 69 points this year.
Oh, the dream lives.
Last year, SMU did it against Prairie View.
Nice.
I know.
And you were there.
Another team did it too last year.
We just need to send Jordan to more things.
No.
Well, not Pitt games.
Part of our resolutions for this year or whatever. Things we learned. There were 5 Fetty Whoppings this year. Thank you, Roger Sherman. That's 38-17.
17-38.
ULM was part of those.
On the bad side.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Troy was part of 2 of them, both on the bad side.
Yeah.
And of course, the wagon wheel game was 38-17.
Go Zips.
There were 8 palindromings. No fun ones this year.
Okay.
There were 5 31-13s and 3 41-14s. Those are the most basic bitch of the palindromes.
Yeah, we can't even get a 21-12 out of this.
Yeah.
Oh.
31-13 is just super basic.
11-11, cowards.
Make a wish.
Fun games that ended that way. Georgia beat Auburn 31-13.
Okay.
Notre Dame beat Georgia Tech 31-13.
All right.
Army beat Navy. Sorry, Navy beat Army. Ooh.
Oh boy.
41-14s include North Carolina over Virginia and Louisville over Kentucky. Okay. And then 7 games went over 100 points total.
Nice.
And the largest of that, of course, was James Madison 70, North Carolina 50. Insane games I have ever seen.
That game was so dumb, and I kind of forgot about it because it was so early in the season. Take me back to that game. Just let me live in that game, please.
That's 120 total points. The next game down is SMU 66, TCU 42. That's only like 108.
Mm-hmm.
It was that much more. Other big scoring games, of course, Boise State beat Georgia Southern 56-45.
That was fun. Ginty went crazy.
Navy beat Memphis 56-44.
Yeah, remember that one.
Mm-hmm. And then early back in the season, Arizona beat New Mexico 61-39.
That was a great game.
That was the first one of the first Devin Dampier like go bananas games.
Yeah, like Dampier did well against Montana State, but like he went nuts. And then now he's at Utah, so I can't wait to see what Utah looks like next year. Oh my God.
Then 70 games were under 20 points total. The lowest scoring game of the year was Sam Houston State 9, Louisiana Tech 3. I watched.
Actually, I had one lower, but that's FCS.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, sorry. This is only FBS.
Yeah, FCS was 6-0.
Oh shit, that's right.
Bobby Moe, yeah.
Mm-hmm. How did they get to 6?
82-yard touchdown pass.
Okay.
And blocked the extra point.
Okay.
It was on a 99-yard drive.
That is good. I do like that, but I was deep down inside hoping for 3 safeties.
Yeah.
No, it's the only scoring drive in that game was a 99-yard drive.
I do like that.
That was it. That was no other score. Bobby Moe.
That's all you need.
Incredible. That's all you need. That's all you needed. I got to figure out I can't remember who they played against. I want to off the top of my head real quick. Oh, Merrimack. We had to monitor that game.
4 of the 7 games under 20 points total are Conference USA games. I'm going to tell you that right now.
a lot of Tuesday, Wednesday, because that 9-3 was a Wednesday game. I remember.
Sam Houston State 10, Florida International 7.
Reject USA, embrace Big Ten.
Mitsu 14, Kennesaw 5. Remember that one?
Yes.
And La Tech 12, Western Kentucky 7. That's a lot of yikes, folks. Those Tuesday games were rough. Oh my God.
Would you like an appetizer off the menu, sir? It's deconstructed.
It's the
air. And you do not have enough glue to construct this thing.
You must construct additional football.
It's a real chopped basket.
Jesus. The only other one I want to mention is RB 14, North Texas 3, where North Texas just got absolutely put in the fucking clamps. North Texas
Army had
400.
Army had 2 of the longest drives of the season in that game. One was for the punt I mentioned earlier, and one was for the touchdown that nearly set the record.
That game keeps coming back up whenever we talk about games this year and weird records. That game always comes up.
Of course. Maybe we should ask somebody about that game.
Oh, yes. Yes, we should.
Listener, you too can have this realization in a few days.
Yeah, sure. About a week.
That's basically, guys, my stats for the year in scores. I'm going to keep pulling more stuff out as I go around. I also published some numbers today that made Bill Connolly mad from ESPN.
Oh,
you did make him mad today.
Not mad.
I'm not sure if he was mad or just disappointed. I don't know which one makes me feel worse.
Jordan, did you do math crimes?
No.
I simply used the BCS strength of schedule formula and published a list.
Oh no.
And it showed that Kansas had the hardest schedule in the country, just like we all know. Florida State was number 2, and Florida State fans were like, something. See, against an easier schedule, we would have gone 3-9.
Buddy.
That's rough, buddy. Look, at this point, it's just you pat on the shoulder and get going. But Bill Connolly was like, this is awful. When I told him what it was, he was very disappointed. I think disappointed is the right word.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's do our ad read, and then we'll get to our fun stuff. I hope you enjoyed on Saturday the College Basketball Blitz. They're going to figure out when the next time they're going to do it is. They'll let us know. We'll let you know.
Yeah, I talked with Hartzell on the branding for the Blitz. He's just like, hey, people already know the Blitz. This is new, so they wanted to use it. And then they may change it in the future. But they just wanted to use the branding. So, and they don't know how many times they're going to do this. So if it's there and you see it from us, listen. So
check out our link tree on our Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky profiles for various discounts. Go to our Patreon and sign up for our Discord, where you can talk about all sorts of fun stuff. If you are having trouble coming off the season, being around other people who are also coming off an addiction to college football helps. We will find your methadone, whatever it is.
It's korfball. It's korfball. It's korfball and it's Eurovision.
Handball was going on. People enjoying handball.
For me, it's Atlantic 10 basketball, but yeah.
Yeah, there is basketball.
Mm-hmm.
UMass can always love you back.
Mm-hmm. You know it.
UMass can't
UMass weddings.
UMass weddings.
I mean, there's some pretty good college basketball going on right now. And I can say that confidently because Pitt's not playing tonight.
True facts.
UMass weddings. Find out why he's called the Minuteman.
Pitt's strength of schedule might be getting worse, though.
West Virginia's helping us out a little bit.
Do you have to do this to me tonight, Arthur?
Oh, I was talking about Wisconsin being down to UCLA. Oh wow, West Virginia's
been down for the last several minutes, although it's a smaller...
at home to Arizona State? Wow.
Oh, no. I mean, consider it.
Consider them.
Listen, I'm going to need West Virginia to come back. Puddles is there. He's an old man. We need to protect Puddles. His heart can only take so much.
Maybe if they make a comeback, he'll get to rush the court again.
He pulled something to him.
Oh, he doesn't have those muscles anymore.
Oh, I love you, Dad.
Check out our merch store. We have new stickers for Oh No, Disaster, What a Bad Idea, and Linear Time Was a Mistake.
Yeah.
And we have a hoodie for you Nebraskans that says chili and cinnamon rolls.
Mm-hmm.
The new things for you there. Check out our YouTube, our Instagram, our Twitch, our Substack. Shout out to Message Board Geniuses podcast. They go places we refuse to go. And as always, for the softest, comfiest, collegiate licensed apparel, Home Field Apparel. Use offer code yes, yes, 3 ha's for 15% off your first order. And also remember that we do have our Too Fast, Too Sickos account for motorsports, and the Rolex 24 at Daytona is this weekend, and they will be tweeting through that.
I just want to shout out 2 things. One, we're going to make sure to remind you when the Mazda MX-5 Cup races are. And also, if you're like, oh, like, I don't really know, I'm going to give you someone to root against. Do you guys remember the CrowdStrike fiasco over the summer?
Yes.
Yes.
So, like, the founder and CEO of CrowdStrike is in the race, like driving one of the cars.
Don't be super mean about CrowdStrike. We have some listeners who work there.
Do we really? Okay.
Yeah, we do.
I'm just talking about the CEO is going to be driving one of the cars. So, you know, if you wanna heal, I don't know. My parents got stranded when that happened.
Okay, so what we have going on, guys, now is that we turned to y'all and asked, like we do every week, really, what did we learn? And the question with this thing was, what did we learn this season? And I asked on all these platforms, and we got some things back. And so we're going to take turns reading some of ours, and we'll talk about them. Some of ours that we like the most, and we'll talk about them.
Would you say that our listeners learned something this season?
I think they learned a lot of different things, and sometimes directly conflicting things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a response for what did we learn, which is not a damn thing.
I will never change. I will never improve. That is a promise.
I will start with Cajun Killer 94 on the Discord. What he learned was never let Jordan go see your team unsupervised.
This is what I learned. I learned this the hard way.
I see no problems.
Are you sure?
Jordan,
The
you
Scooter's
need to
Coffee
start
Bowl?
next season at the West.
It's fine.
Virginia.
I was already dead by then.
Oh, okay. Just
I mean, I just remember sitting at the SMU Pitt game going, oh, well, Pitt just having that night. And this had come off of the Syracuse win.
Yes.
They had just smoked Syracuse. Cal McCord throwing 4 interceptions like wild Pitt.
Syracuse had just smoked Syracuse in hindsight. But yes.
I was like, oh, this is going to be great. Oh, no. It's one of those games. Well, Pitt just can't do anything right. Sorry. And I don't want to say it was my fault.
I'll say it was your fault.
But I was there for the brawl too, and they won.
Mm-hmm.
You were not there unsupervised.
That's right.
Okay, so
but you had a West Virginia jersey on.
Still had the supervision though. I feel like okay, so Jordan doesn't get to go see your team unsupervised.
Mm-hmm.
This feels fair.
Mm-hmm. This one is from Coop or Co-op. Could be either.
Co-op.
From the Discord. You should always try to plant a flag after a rivalry game, and swords don't work on turf.
I mean, that's a good lesson.
That's wisdom.
That is very, very wise. The cactus looking sword or the pitchfork that Arizona State used just still didn't really work well on the turf.
Should we start selling like tiny flags, like funeral car flags for like people to try to plant into fields that they can like show us that they went to a game by showing us that like our flag has been planted there?
Oh, what we should do is start selling the cupcake topper or like toothpick ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then you can also, if you are, for example, a football team yourself, you could hypothetically order like 500 of them, allocate them out to your team, and then when you win the game, you basically spork the other team's field.
Yeah. It's going to look like Memorial Day out there.
But for ants.
Beth, do you know the story of the SMU band planting ryegrass on a TCU field?
No.
So I don't remember how long ago this was, but the SMU band has a diamond M shape that they form. It's their thing.
Okay.
and they were at the TCU field, and they all had pockets full of like ryegrass, and they dropped it where they were.
Oh my God.
And 6 months later, when winter came, there was a big old diamond M on the TCU field.
Oh my God, that's so good.
Isn't that great?
Good stuff there.
Plant that. That's fine. For turf, for regular fields.
When did TCU go to artificial?
Well, that's right. They have the very bad drainage too. I remember the drainage fight between TCU and SMU. Commish, which of these takes have you...
no, they still have Bermuda grass. You could do this now.
I guess we could do both of these, like, combination with each other, the next two things. One is from A.R. McClellan. The one after that is from Jeff. So I want to just like change this up a little bit. Sometimes bye weeks don't help teams. Sometimes they hurt teams. Sometimes, you know, they take away your mojo. They take away your momentum. They break up. You know, they take away your routine. They take away, you know, the groove that you're in. You know, you're feeling yourself. You're 5-1. You're on the edge of bowl eligibility. But the bye week is basically the cursed bye week, where
are you talking about a particular team? Is this a particular team this happened to?
Yeah, of course I'm mentioning ULM because they were 5-1 until they reached their bye week, and they lost every single game after that bye week.
Oh God!
So, you know, again, not enough to get to that 6th win.
Next year could be Pitt, though. That could happen for you.
And what basically Jeff said right below this: football is pain. Football games still fun.
Yes.
So yes, these go together. Football is pain. It just the worst bye week known in ULM history. So I will, you know, I never thought you could lose a game to a bye week, but you could lose 6 straight after a bye week.
Pitt Girl, what's something that you enjoyed that they learned?
What? Yes. Let's see here. What else did the listeners learn? Any game is worthy of storming the field if you're petty enough.
That's very good. It's such a good one.
My favorite of these is and will always remain, and credit to Rob W 911-46737 on Twitter for this insight. 0118999. My favorite of these is and will always remain Kennesaw State rushing the field against Liberty, realizing that there's still time on the clock, very politely unrushing the field and then rushing the field again.
Versus Arizona State's inability to unrush the field when they double rush.
Yeah.
They just sort of like
Arizona State just smunching themselves into the sideline.
As best as possible.
I'm starting to think, what are more things we could hire drunk Arizona State students to stand behind? Like, how about surgeries? Should you have to be in med school practicing surgery with Arizona State students like over your shoulder? Trying to
Is there like those arenas, like where they do the surgeries, the observed ones?
The
just imagine Arizona
theaters.
State's there.
Yeah.
Yes, it's just nothing but Arizona State there.
Arizona State students rushing the operating room.
We're going to set a new record for surgical mortality. Current high score is 3, right?
Yes, it is in fact 3.
It's the hole from the
Waste Management Open.
Waste Management Open,
and that just put the surgery on the
surgery in the middle. Yep, you see exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay,
and you do something right, good things. Beer cups come raining down on you.
You have to put in plexiglass like it's a hockey game.
You brought him back to life. Yeah!
Oh shit! He used the overhand technique. Ah!
Does Arizona State have a med school?
I hope not.
Is this where we should bring up the people on Twitter who what they learned was consider Arizona State?
I think we have all learned to consider Arizona State.
You didn't know it by now. I'm disappointed.
They're going to launch a med school.
Oh, Arizona State Med School coming soon to an Arizona State near you.
Seeking accreditation. Let's go. That degree will probably be worth something. Trust us.
I feel like they'd probably be good at emergency med.
Mhm.
Get a lot of practice.
Yeah, who else? I mean, paramedics. Arizona State paramedics, I would trust implicitly.
Oh, they've seen
Oh, yeah.
everything. There's nothing left to see.
For sure.
Like sweeping an airway, like second nature for them.
Mhm.
No one dies.
What was that show that Arthur brought up on the last episode? Was it like something?
911.
Yeah, just 911. Okay, Arizona State 911.
Oh, Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
they're looking for another spinoff after 911 Lone Star ends.
Tempe 911.
It just sounds like Reno 911. It's all I can think of.
That's it, dude.
I will say, if ABC did make a 911 Tempe, it would be the exact same as 911 Lone Star, because they would still film it in LA and then just have like random.
No,
like
it's got to be on location.
The one everyone brings up was when 911 Lone Star had like a volcano. Because you have those in Texas, you have those in Austin.
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's spring. Yeah, sure. No. Something else people learned was this is a fire strokes at blue sky. Goalposts yearn for the sea.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
this year, the call was there. The goalposts leapt off bridges.
That's right. In
Went
Lehigh.
to rivers. Went on long walks.
Mm-hmm.
Goalposts yearn for the sea. It's like a Kate Chopin novel, but less depressing.
The goalposts have the sea longing. Someday they will go over the sea back to the Golden Lands.
Can does anybody have like any like poetry skills? Can we like write like Goalposts Yearn for the Sea by the Sickos Committee?
I mean, I have a degree in literature.
Okay. I need something like this, and I would love to put it on the subtitle.
You want like something kind of Keatsian, or
whatever style.
Oh no!
Shouldn't this just be the lay of Arundel the Mariner?
I want to kind of go Yeatsy with it. Let me
Do
think
it.
about this a little bit.
Put it in the brainstorming channel.
Okay.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Goalposts
What
Yearn
rough
for the
goalpost slouches towards the sea, waiting to be born?
Mm.
I'm just imagining, the flags on top of the goalpost is basically pointing where they want to go.
Beth,
over there, the goalposts in Heinz Field, the flags.
Mm-hmm.
They yearn for the river behind. They yearn for the three
They're
rivers.
so close.
That's right. There's three pieces of the goalposts. They one in each.
Spirit?
Just plant them in the fountain and kick them over.
Totally. Do it.
I'd like that would involve, rather than just throwing them in the river right there, walking them across a bridge, down several blocks, down across an old fort.
Yes.
Yes.
Then putting them into the fountain, and then putting them into the river.
Yes.
Beth, what else did people learn that you enjoyed?
This one really touched my heart. It's from WTF-tastic from Blue Sky. Having no expectations doesn't protect you from disappointment. It just means you get disappointed in a different way. And I like the fun exclamation point at the end of that.
Oh,
do we know what team this person is a fan of?
Let me go look.
Look, this reminds me of my golf game at this point, because I go in and like I know I'm awful, but I have no expectations, and I'm like I'm not going to do well, but for some odd reason, like one hole or two holes in a row, I'm playing pretty well, and then, oh no, I'm starting to expect that I can continue to do this for the rest of the game. The whole 18 holes, but it doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you find yourself getting disappointed in new ways. Like, why would you do this to me, golf? And, I can see that here.
This feels like, I mean, there are teams that were bottomed out. I think even Kent State fans would say that they were disappointed this year, even though they had no expectations to be any better this year. They like hit a new bottom. And I think for some fan bases, that's what we're seeing here is this. I got disappointed even in my low expectations. We did not even meet those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think there are some Pitt fans that this applies to also, which is part of why I ask. Here we are.
Yeah, I couldn't find out who she's a fan of.
Okay.
Commish?
Some mysteries are not for us to know.
Yes.
What did you enjoy?
Ooh, there's an idea, Tennyson.
So this is college football, right? Some things don't always go your way, but sometimes you're able to overcome them. And you can experience a disaster and have a bad idea, but still somehow come out victorious.
We need to find a motivational way to make this a motivational poster. That you can have this bad idea, but you still hang in there.
Well, I think part of it is we need one where it's formatted like maybe like a success baby meme kind of thing.
Okay.
It says, "Oh no, disaster, what a bad idea." But it also has the final score at the bottom.
Okay.
As a reminder that Maryland did in fact win that game.
How about this? We make it a turtle.
Mm.
The turtle falls on its back. Oh no, disaster. What a bad idea. But somehow the turtle is able to flip itself over and overcomes and wins the game 29-28.
I like this.
Someone
put that idea thread. I think I can do this.
Oh no, disaster. What a bad idea. Shout out to Bobby Docs with that one.
We remember this game for the thing that this team did not lose. Maryland had the worst, one of the wackiest plays we've seen, and they win that game. And that is, if I were going to write a shitty self-help book, it would be like the Maryland paradox, how we treat ourselves, things like that.
Just like the Maryland flag on the front.
Oh yeah, but like at a 14-degree rotation, just so it looks a little akimbo. Pitt Girl, what did you find out?
This year we learned that throwing trash on the field is a proven appropriate method to get a call overturned. This one submitted by Blue Sky user Origzat.
But you got to be committed to it.
You do. It's got to be more than one bottle.
It's got to be more than one bottle of Michelob Ultra that changes the new profile pic to the bottle of Michelob Ultra in the Orange Bowl. You gotta go for it. Go all in. It worked, and
but you have to commit.
Who did?
Got to commit to the bit.
Who did it work for though?
Texas.
Oh, you gonna play it?
God damn it!
No, we don't need to do that now. It's not even in season. We can just move past this. Maybe I edit this whole thing out. I don't know.
It's not ready for the cow. It's not ready for the cows, man. I was by itself.
So true of so many of us.
No, you can be driving, all of a sudden there's a fucking cow.
No, you absolutely have to. You have to 100% wholly believe you are righteous here, because if you even for a moment feel like you're not, you'll stop and you'll think about what you're doing.
That's right.
You got to just throw it. You are right. They are wrong. That is the only thing that matters here.
There is no room for self-doubt in trash throwing.
That's right. Could you say like they were Rightrasheous? Righteous? Rightrasheous? I can't even say it.
It's real.
It's like righteous and trash in there.
No, it was real bad.
It was very bad. I tried.
What else we learned?
Well, if I really believed it, I could have made it work, but I didn't.
This is from our good friend of the program, Black Squirrel in the Discord, who's a Kent State fan.
Yes.
Just because the annual Ride to Hell tour ends doesn't mean that you actually get to leave hell. Yikes.
True, you need a ride from hell.
Oh,
don't cry because it happened. Smile because it's over.
Smile because it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
This is. Do we need to put Zoloft in like the Kent State water supply?
Congratulations, Kent State. We have discovered that there is a non-naturally occurring supply of lithium in your water.
Yikes. And like, I don't blame them because like, I don't know that it gets better real fast, but hey.
Like, respectfully, and I do say this with every fondness for Kent State, I don't know that we have evidence that it gets better ever.
Once every 40 or 50 years, it seems like it does. So maybe it's a little comet-esque. So with one of them long period orbits.
They had a good run a couple of years ago.
Kent State is the Halley's Comet of college football. Their name is the Golden Flashes for a reason.
Oh,
I like it.
Okay.
Hey, Beth?
I liked what Nighthawk said in the Discord. Brian Kelly was the problem at Notre Dame.
Jesus.
Hey, it seems perfectly reasonable to me. Did you see a Brian Kelly at Notre Dame this year? I didn't.
This gets so... LSU fans have a very weird relationship with Brian Kelly because it's that he's probably not as good of a coach as like James Franklin, but it's a little bit of the James Franklin thing of like, we're winning like 9 to 10 games a year, but not winning any of the breakthrough games. What do we do with this? And at Penn State, I guess we're a little more okay with this. I feel like at LSU, they're going to toss his ass a little faster.
I have nothing to add to that.
It's fine. That's totally fine.
The buyout is ridiculous. So I think he's there. But it's funny watching the NFL playoffs and watching, the quarterback that won the Heisman last year lead the Commanders to the NFC Championship game. So
our beautiful.
You're gonna look back. You're gonna look back on that 9-3 and just remember how bad that defense was.
Remember when our beautiful boy was slinging it with Arizona State?
Yeah,
and throwing it to just anyone that moved. It's so wonderful to see him all grown up. I'm so proud of him.
Yep.
Commish, what else did we learn?
I want to say Maction is everything. Maction is life. Maction is just dynamic. There's so many different levels to Maction, and as our friend Animated Lunch in the Discord says, that Maction is both NIU beating Notre Dame and Kent State losing to St. Francis.
Yes.
That's Maction is everything.
It contains
Maction is
Maction is all that was and that has been and that will ever be.
That's what it is. And NIU is moving on to the Mountain West.
Not for another year. We get 13
a year or two. Yeah.
Oh, you know what this is? The 13 teams at the Mac Last Supper. Who will betray me?
It was the Husky.
It's the Husky. Not the fat person. The animal.
Jesus Christ.
Just like someone goes Husky.
The one that Maction is magic all along, and that's the one that betrayed. The Husky, the paw touch in that gif.
I think the best part about the Maction I realized is that as you get past daylight savings, things get like mopey and dark, and that Maction on Tuesday, Wednesdays really gets you through. Man, it really helps those nights out. A little mulled wine.
Yeah, it's after like during the year, during the season, like Maction shows up in the beginning of November, and that's basically when you do the fallback. And so the nights are getting colder, the days are getting shorter. Maction is kind of a light in those times where we know the season's ending, and we take trips to Ypsilanti and Mount Pleasant and Kalamazoo and Bowling Green. We battle about interstates. We fight over wagon wheels. We have battles over the bricks where we get stopped at the border.
I have a question, Commish. I have a question because a lot of people say the same thing, and they go, "I can't tell the Mac schools apart." They see it as like this one big blob of schools. Why do you think people say that? Because they don't watch them enough to know that they have very individual personalities? Or is it because there's not one dominant team year after year?
That's a really good question.
Mac schools, I feel like, have a lot more in common than a lot of conferences.
Agreed.
Yeah.
like from geography to like the
Yeah.
profile of the schools. I mean, there's a lot of things where they are actually very, very similar.
They kind of remind me of the northern version of the Southland Conference.
Mm.
If you want to do that.
Okay.
It feels like every team in that league is essentially a drive. You're able to drive to make it there. Now this is going to change, and Buffalo is a bit of a drive from like Kent and
Amherst now, but yeah.
Yeah,
but,
you
Amherst,
can drive to UMass from
You-
Ohio, but I would not recommend it.
I wouldn't recommend going across Pennsylvania or upstate New York. It's not that great of a drive. Really, it feels like it's a conglomeration of like you just feel like the action is just like other parts of like Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
It's not like the main parts, which I mean, they're awesome parts. Like personally, they all have like their own little like personalities.
But the question becomes, I'm asking though, is why doesn't that come through more often? I think one of the reasons might be that we don't have this one team who's just the best year after year, so you don't get to know like the Toledo way. Although Toledo's actually been pretty good year after year, or like the Ball State way. It's the 1 year thing, and then you're like, I can't keep track of who won the fucking MAC because.
I mean, does anybody? I think you are onto something here, because you don't hear people saying, "Oh, I can't keep the Mountain West schools like apart," but that's more because like how much. I don't think it's that people really differentiate those schools that much more. It's just that there is a team at the top, and that one is the one that you need to know. Hi, Boise State.
Yeah, it's the I know this one team, ergo I know the conference, versus the real MAC was the friends we made along the way.
Which 8-4, 9-3 ish team is going to win the MAC this year?
Right.
I don't know. No, I get that makes sense. I love the MAC like you guys do.
The fun thing for me is watching the MAC and then watching like they all have these star players, and the star players go on to the NFL, and you watch them in the NFL, and you're like, oh yeah, that's right, this person went to Bowling Green, or like, oh yeah, I remember that returner. Like I was watching the CFL, and I was like, it's Khalil Pilton, like Pimpleton, he's there. Like returning kicks in the CFL, like on his first kick, he takes it to the house, and I'm like, yeah, it's things like that get me excited for the MAC. Like you see, it used to be like the cradle of quarterbacks. It's
cradle of coaches.
I mean, now, it's been like a conglomeration of just, I don't want to say like a crab bucket, but like it's up for grabs every year. Like there isn't.
See, the Big 12 to me is much more of a crab bucket, whereas the MAC feels more like a rising tides lift all ships. Maybe I may be romanticizing like the Rust Belt.
Yeah, new sentence.
Part of that.
It's a different area of the country. Like you don't find people that are just like, I gotta go watch a game in Athens, Ohio. Like no offense, Athens, Ohio.
You do though. You do have to do that.
You do need to do that, but like you never see like bucket list like things of that. Like
hitting all 5 Ohio MAC schools. Are there 5 MAC schools?
So Bowling Green.
No, I think
Ohio, Miami, Akron, and Kent. That's 5.
That's 5. The old Ohio 5-way. There we go.
That's right. There you go. Bringing it back to Skyline, but
I will not be putting that into Urban Dictionary.
I feel like the MAC needs a little bit new flavor, and I think UMass will bring some.
UMass certainly is new flavor.
It is little clam chowder.
You're
that you get the clams off of the Lake Erie.
This is like a little paprika.
That's the zebra mussels.
Now a little smoked paprika.
As a Pennsylvanian, it is my job to dunk on Ohio, but I also have to respect a place where in the space of a single day, I could have a Schmisket at Sheets in the morning, I could eat at Culver's in the afternoon, and I could have Skyline as a chaser.
It's fair. Although I feel like you can probably also do that in Florida.
Texas.
Ohio is Florida. Ohio is cold Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we established that Finland was cold Florida.
Yeah. That all tracks.
You got to try that Ohio Hugo.
God, how many fucking little dots and circles over those O's in Ohio?
Oh God.
It's the
They
slash.
have to dot the I a
Guy.
lot, I think.
Slash.
You have to dot the I and the O. They're dotting the I and the O.
Okay, script Ohio State, but they do it a slash through the O like it's a fucking hard metal band.
H hey.
Bort.
Reach. Oh God. Okay.
Put the hot dog in the canoe.
Oh, this is just someone. Hey, cool. Hey, Pitt Girl. What else did we learn?
What else did we learn? We learned that winners get washed.
That's right.
They do.
They do.
Submitted by Chris Left WX on Twitter.
But this was something that the idea of a stink couch and winners get washed. The stink couch wasn't directly from Coach Fran Brown. This was something we interpreted, I believe.
Yes, yes.
It was some
the futon of failure.
Yes. Thank you. The futon of failure. Yes. But winners get washed.
Winners get washed.
They get Old Spice body gel.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, what more do you want? From, let's see here. Where are my other ones? From Trent W on the Discord. I like this one. The sport of college football is as serious or silly as you want to make it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can. What I like about this is you can interact with the sport on dozens of levels.
Mm-hmm.
And they are all equally as valid.
Yep. I will say, like, as an advocate for silly watching, it's better for your heart.
Right?
This is one thing. Like, with this, there used to be a time in my life where, man, my team loses. It was never ULM, but like my team uses. It was never ULM. Like, I was never.
That's the dark night of the soul.
That's why he
got no.
For.
There was some losses like ULM losses that hurt, but like there was a time in my life where you would just let, there's that joke tweet. It's like, I'm gonna let these 18 to 22-year-old kids determine my mood for the rest of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm gonna be miserable till Wednesday.
I got to the point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's not a way to live. It's not a way, like, I mean, like, I'm just gonna be sad because my team lost, which I mean, yeah, my team lost. The team that I cheer for loses, but like, I got to a point, and this is kind of maybe how the committee kind of came out. It's just like I like being happy for other teams in other situations when things like that. You find joy in like another team's success. You find joy elsewhere. I mean, it's a giant buffet of college football teams. If you follow it all, you can find a happy story. And yeah, sure, your team lost. It sucks. Get over it. And it's like, let's jump on the Vandy bandwagon. They just beat Alabama.
Yeah,
or
this whole thing is supposed to be fun.
Yeah,
have fun with it.
It's entertainment.
Yeah, it's not football work.
I mean, these people that play, like these kids that play, as the NCAA says, they're going professional in something else other than sports. There's only so many NFL teams or UFL teams or CFL teams or European League of Football teams. That's right. The Italian
French
Football League. I know. There's only so many, if you want to be playing for pizza, you can be. Go Cheese Cats. But really, I just found a way to just compartmentalize that. And like, while it does suck, ULM was 5-1 and they finished 5-7. I'll make a snide, bitter comment about it, but it's not affecting the rest of my life like the losses were previously.
The only time I've ever seen you really down about a weekend, it took all your teams losing.
Yeah.
It was like one or two, not a big deal. I can't remember the exact weekend, but I remember one.
No, that was saddest, Commish.
It was
that was
you were mopey days after because it was like boom, 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 like 6 teams or something.
Like there was no joy.
No.
Like it was like none. And it was just like I was cursed, and I think the only one that would win was like Arsenal, but now they're cursed. So it caught them eventually.
Okay, Beth. Any more?
From Game Day Garage on Twitter, move the Natty away from a Monday night.
Yes.
I'm going to yes and this.
Mm.
Can we never have an Inauguration Day national championship game ever, ever, ever again? I don't need to go any further than that. I just, please,
Yeah.
I'm asking nicely. Because next time I ask, it won't be nice.
Can we please just do the Natty on Saturday at 3:30 like God intended?
Mhm.
Like, just tell the NFL to move. They have Sunday. Just fucking move. It's fine. You can move.
Did you see that starting, maybe not next year, but the year after, they're going to start a wild thing here. Going to start broadcasting the national title game on ABC as well.
Ooh, imagine that.
Oh.
Imagine that. Not paywalling their biggest game of the year that they pay for. Anyways, very good. Commish?
I kind of already touched on the last one that I wanted to touch with. Your team's loss, although painful to you, can bring so much joy to the football fandom at large. And, MST 3K Nutmeg basically cited Vanderbilt beating Alabama. If you were not an Alabama fan, or even if you were an Alabama fan, maybe you took this in stride. Maybe.
She is an Alabama fan.
Yeah. So, like, you could celebrate something this silly, like, just like, oh my God, they're tearing down the goalposts. Oh my God, they're carrying them down Broadway. Oh my God, they banged a coach's car. Basically, there's so many different things that you could enjoy. Like, okay, yeah, this is like a really bad loss. Like, I can't explain what happened. I didn't expect this to happen. You can kind of take solace in like how ridiculous the rest of the college football world is like united to just celebrate the joy of Vandy beating Alabama.
There's something to be said when, and I've never been on the other. I have been with Texas actually, but
okay.
On the side of where the entire world wants you to lose. I've never been on that side, or I'm very rarely on that side. I feel like that Alabama, like you get that feel.
Like that, basically the beginning of the year kind of set this tone off. Like, everybody expected Florida State to just roll and beat Georgia Tech, and then Georgia Tech, no, like, no, we're going to beat you. And, we saw what happened from there, but
they continued until morale improved, which it did not.
Shout out to Florida State for becoming the first team to lose 2 games while ranked, like consecutively while in the top 10
before
in the same
next poll even
before
reset.
the next poll came out. Yeah,
they were just like, oh, we don't do this after this week because this week doesn't really count. And it was like, okay. And
yeah, I love zombie rankings. I didn't know before this year that how much I loved zombie rankings. Turns out a whole lot.
Yeah, it was
zombie ranked Florida State was art.
That's what you put on all the recruitment stuff you sent out that week.
I mean, it was great. It was just like, do you want to see a dead body? Do you want to see a dead body at the start of the scroll at the bottom of the screen for 2 weeks?
I remember going into that and like going into the BC game being like, oh, it's going to be really funny if they do
we called it.
And then they did it.
We called it. It was like, oh, it's going to happen again. You're all out there.
Everyone's going to see.
Everyone's going to see it. Everyone saw.
We all saw.
I know. So like Jordan's felt this before when like little old Kansas beat Texas.
No, but there's something.
Which time?
Yeah. But like there are those moments where everyone wants your team to lose. And there is something to be said about, I don't know, I guess I don't live and die by it, but it feels kind of good to be the heel sometimes.
I am a Pitt fan and have no idea what you're talking about, but okay.
Yeah.
Beth is about to kill you.
Do you really, was everybody in the entire college football universe rooting against Pitt in that game? Because I do not think that is the case.
So I will say that particular West Virginia team was so much fun to watch. We were far more popular than we normally would have been.
Okay.
Yeah, people wanted to see that team play more.
Okay.
It's coming back, Beth. Feels like 07.
God damn it. I swear. I can't. Fuck.
You think he saw the keys?
Is there?
He just never sold his house.
Yeah.
Oh
Is there a movie where like basically something happens and then like everything's back, but like you miss like 17 years of memory? Like you're just is that like like
Are you trying to think of a specific movie, or are you coming
like
up with
Rip
this
Van
as like a movie
Winkling this
premise?
shit.
The
I
only
don't
movie
know.
that springs to mind for me for this is While
Okay.
You Were Sleeping, and that's not quite right.
No, that's not right.
No, this feels more like 51st Dates if we're going to play that game.
Okay, so your memory has been wiped,
And then
and then you're
continues
like,
to be wiped over and over again.
and
'cause
here's
you
the
never learn.
VHS tape that says Rich Rod is still the coach.
This
at-
is Memento.
okay.
Oh my God.
Or Live, Die, Repeat, or whatever the Edge of Tomorrow, whatever the hell that movie was
Oh,
called.
the one with Tom Cruise.
Oh
Yeah.
no, this is the one. This is the one where they're on the train that keeps blowing up every 10 minutes, and he's in a computer. Spoiler. Source code, I think.
No, source code. That's source code.
Your
yeah.
mama
Yeah.
life come to bargain.
Yeah, it just seems like this is okay. Let's try it again. And I mean, UCF's doing the same thing. So you're not two Big 12 conference mates, UCF and West Virginia.
Baby, come back.
They're getting back with their exes.
No, this is such a bad idea. This is such
Terrible.
a good idea for everyone.
I was at the College Football Hall of Fame this past weekend, and I was like amused by the criteria for being inducted into the hall, because
Yeah.
they do have like in like Major League Baseball, right? Like there's a certain ballot that gets sent out, so you have to at least be good enough to make the ballot. But then like theoretically, anyone on the ballot you could vote for them. For the College Football Hall of Fame, there are rules for both players and coaches. And the rule for a coach is that you have to have at least a 600 winning percentage.
Mhm.
You have to have coached 10 years. You have to have coached at least 100 games. And then there's certain rules about how long after you retire you're eligible. But what I was amused at was I was just looking at, all of the Hall of Famers from Pitt. And the thing that was funny was that Johnny Majors was above the 600 mark.
Yep.
Like probably would have been into the Hall of Fame, but
Yep.
came back and coached Pitt for 4 years in the 90s that went terribly. And that put him below that mark. So he's not eligible for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Ricky Rod.
There's
Memento
not a
Mori.
lot. There's not a lot of examples of this working, especially relative to the times it has not worked.
We need to go back, and maybe this is something to look at the Substack we can work on, is the times where this has worked, where coaches have come back and done equal or better. The one I can think of is the Purple Wizard at Kansas State.
Yeah, I mean, the example is Bill Snyder.
But he came back. He came back with exactly the right sort of energy, which is they put my goddamn name on this stadium, and now they're playing this shit inside the place they named after me. It is like the angriest old man of like, I'm going to go down there and show them how to fucking do this thing, like, which is the right way to approach it. If you're going to approach it, be the angry elderly neighbor.
You know who else this is kind of working for?
Who?
Greg Schiano.
Yes. Yep.
I mean, I would say from like just looking at places where it's worked, I think it works a lot. It has a higher chance of working if the coach didn't leave for another job, right? Like Bill Snyder, right? Where like he retires and then comes back. Like that's I feel like that's a different, or like what Jeff Tedford did at Fresno, where like he took a step back, then came back, then is now retired again. But I feel like that has a much higher success of working than, like got hired somewhere else, went off, did other jobs, and now is coming back.
I think that. Nope, lost that train of thought. Happens. Big Girl, any other ones you're interested in talking about?
Yes. One other important thing we learned this year, courtesy of Weather and Pie on Twitter, is that you can always upend the news cycle by hiring Bill Belichick.
That is.
I know that the stance on our podcast and within the committee is that we're not in a place yet as a business where we can responsibly hire interns. But
I mean, hey, that buyout drops this year. Like, he hasn't coached a game yet, but the buyout's still scheduled to drop.
Do you have to pay a buyout if you're not hiring him to coach? He could just retire.
Or he could double task, like
unless we're hiring him as a coach.
The basketball dude that we talked about on the last episode. I don't even remember his name. The guy that's coaching Green Bay terribly and also doing a radio show. There we go.
Yeah. Hey, Bill Belichick. Yeah, you want to be our intern for like 5 hours a week? We got you.
Just do a 2-hour podcast every day. I think you can do that on top of coaching in college.
Hunters of the 1890s. The 12-part series.
Welcome everyone to the Sickos Committee podcast.
What if Dan Carlin hated the listeners and everything about the podcast?
Well, because like, as you're doing 2 hours of radio a day, like, a lot of that is filling time, which is, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of dead air. You'd be like, Coach, this was a 2-hour block. Like, I finished. I'm done.
No.
Finished 45 minutes in. Why would I do any more?
Yeah,
I said everything that needed to be said.
Yeah, it's on to the Mountain West.
So there was this punter. He was from Australia. They called him the kangaroo kicker.
Yeah, I mean, he could have his own 100-part series on whatever minor thing he would want. I would listen to him talk endlessly. But I'm a giant nerd too.
This podcast is sponsored by Bombas. Use code BILL for 20% off on socks. They're for your feet.
I like this is almost like a parody NPR voice.
Almost. It's almost.
It's about right.
I mean,
he's just. I mean, he basically is grumpy NPR.
Grumpy NPR.
More stations should do that. Grumpy NPR.
WITF, if you're listening, I have an April Fool's Day idea for you.
Okay.
Folks, any other ones that you want to read?
I got one of my own I can throw in.
Go for it.
Okay.
Ooh.
The biggest thing that I think I found myself learning this year was that with the playoff being different, the way that we think about college football teams has changed, right? And I said before the season, I think it was the week that the AP preseason poll dropped, where I said that the prospect of having to consider, is Ole Miss good, was something that I really hadn't considered until I was looking at that AP poll, right?
Yeah.
Because in previous years, there was a higher standard to make the playoffs. So there was a lot, you could cross off a lot more teams. Mm-hmm. And there were certain teams that you could say, like, okay, well, we don't have to ever think about them as a playoff team because they won't be, right? I mean, even like a team like, say, Indiana this year that made the playoff, right? In the 4-team playoff, the thought process around Indiana would be like, okay, they might be good, they might not be, but they'll play Ohio State, and then based on that one game, that's all we need. Mm-hmm. But now with this expanded playoff, like, you just really can't do anything with one game sample sizes in the regular season. And like, I heard a lot of people like really surprised at how Ohio State handled Oregon because of like, well, they didn't look good against Michigan, right? And like, ignoring the context there, I mean, it's, there's nothing that really tells us from an actual stats perspective that a one-game sample size is meaningful, right? The reason it has been meaningful in the past is that it only took one game to knock you out. And so it was less about when a team lost that one game saying, oh, this empirically shows the team is not that good. It was just, okay, but we don't have to think about that anymore because it's not going to be relevant to us. And now there's a lot more teams that are relevant, and those teams are going to have some losses. I mean, we had a bunch of 2-loss teams when it came to actually making the playoff. This year, 3-loss teams in the conversation. At some point, we'll probably get a 3-loss team, just the way things work. And then, you're going to have a playoff team, and you could try to talk about like the transitive property and all that. But it's like, yeah, man, like they're in the playoffs.
I think like this year, just basically is like, all right, who gets a mulligan?
Yeah.
Like who gets that? Like who are you going to give that mulligan to?
And more importantly, when do you get that mulligan? Because
when do you get the mulligan?
We've talked about this a bunch.
Yeah.
There's a linear time issue of many.
It's almost like linear time was a mistake.
It was, and buy the sticker in the store.
Losses are weighted by when you had them. That's why
absolutely
Notre Dame's loss to NIU, while being absolutely goddamn wild, did not matter at all by the end of the season.
Right. If that happens in late November,
if you're not Ohio State.
I was going to say, yeah, we do sort of have a exception.
But
I mean, exception.
Well, but not really, because that's not an awful loss. It's not on the same scale. It's not on the same scale.
No, it's not losing to NIU, but like Michigan was pretty bad.
They were. It's not a good Michigan team. But like you lost a conference game at the end. It's not like you lost.
No.
But that was a rivalry game where you saw the record.
Something to be said though, and I think we missed this out, is that you missed that rival being able to absolutely stab your season in the neck.
Yeah.
At the very end. You can do it, but if you're floating pretty high, your rival can't quite climb out of the muck and go, with me, down with me.
Yeah, Beth, I'm sorry that I have to say this, but
however,
12-team playoff 2007, 13-9 doesn't mean anything.
It means zero.
Well, I mean, I don't think that we've lost that completely. It's just changed where that happens, right? I mean, like it's not a rivalry game, but like Florida took Ole Miss out of the playoff, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and while like we can't retcon where we ended up, like Alabama loses the Iron Bowl, that's stabbed in the neck from everybody's perspective looking at it now.
Yeah.
No, I agree there, but I'm trying to
we don't know who has the knife now.
Well, so I'm trying to compare the excitement I felt.
What do you have? A knife?
No! We all have knives. Sorry, Albie.
A clean old-fashioned hate.
Oh my God.
Right. Okay, so that game goes wild. It's not. Is that loss enough to pull Georgia out? I don't think so.
No,
because it was still
Georgia
the
still
SEC
would have
title
made
game.
the SEC championship game. Right. It's not a conference game.
And so it's that weird thing of like, that still feels great if we only have two teams.
I mean, look at Clemson. Look what happened to Clemson this year. South Carolina basically should have ended Clemson's season, but it's not a conference game. And thanks to Fran Brown and Syracuse overcoming a 21-point deficit at home to Miami, who has a new defensive coordinator now.
I mean, Clemson was the bid thief here.
They were. That's right. Dabo was stealing stuff.
Like, get that set of words going in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clemson bid stealer is very funny.
That's true.
That is like Clemson stole the bid from Alabama.
So
there was another knife.
I mean,
from another direction.
There's all sorts of ways this can happen. I think with the expanded playoff, there's more opportunities for it to happen because there's more teams in contention. I also think this is another thing I've decided. Right, I was not completely sold on this round of expansion going to 12 teams. After seeing this for 1 year, like let's keep going. I want more. I want it bigger. 12 teams, too small.
64-team playoff.
Yeah, fuck it. Why not?
This is
Eat it, Arby's.
So I'm going to say I threw out a lot of people's things that they learned that were things like it takes $20 million to buy your championship. Like, we're not doing this, kids.
That's the wrong podcast.
Look, if it only takes $20 million to buy a championship, like I know how much every Big Ten and SEC school makes in media rights. Why aren't they doing that? Because they have the. I mean, even like
gotta buy
ACC,
smart, right?
Like probably Big 12 teams, like $20 million. They have the money, right?
Yep.
If it only costs $20 million, then I mean that's a great deal.
ULM's entire athletic department budget is $19 million.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's bigger than Teal's endowment. In fact, I'm certain it's bigger than Teal's endowment.
I just like, just for reference, they're again.
Oh no, Teal's endowment went up to 30 million.
Oh,
okay. So Teal's endowment bigger.
Teal could buy a Division I FBS national championship
for 1 year and then fold immediately.
Fold immediately.
Worth it.
Done.
Imagine hosting a home playoff game
at Alumni Stadium. Hell yes.
Make everyone only in the graveyard.
I think the thing that kept coming up was, among other things, consider Arizona State.
Yes.
Run the ball.
Run the damn ball.
Run the damn ball.
And I feel like the running game came back this year a little bit.
A little bit.
Establish it.
NFL, it did the NFL too. Like NFL is really starting to run the ball again. All that talk of 2 high safeties needing to be banned, it's solved. Yeah. People just run the ball.
Run the damn ball.
I mean, it felt like it was really about like star running backs.
Yes.
You know, like there was some great individual running back performances.
Oh yeah.
Something we've seen in a long time. That feels like very much a breath of fresh air from.
It was wonderful, and I want it to happen again, please.
Yeah, keep it going.
Interesting that it's happening in the NFL too, after so much discourse about NFL running backs being functionally interchangeable, and now Saquon Barkley has arrived, and he is the second coming of our Lord and Savior.
Kids, I think that's all we got for tonight.
The last
we got one more thing.
Sorry.
Oh, one more thing.
I got to talk about this NBA trade that happened today because I think it's funny.
All right, basketball.
The Phoenix Suns are trading a first-round pick to the Utah Jazz for 3 first-round picks.
How high up is that first-round pick?
What?
So we have no idea where the Suns pick will end up because it's a 2031 pick.
Okay.
They're trading their 2031 first-round pick for first-round picks in 2025, 2027, and 2029.
Okay.
The reason for this is because the NBA has a rule. It's named after the guy who owned sports teams in Cleveland who dropped softballs off a skyscraper.
Oh yeah,
yeah, we remember this guy. Yes.
Yeah. So he used to own the Cavs and tried to trade away like every first round pick for I think like a decade. And so the NBA made a rule that you cannot trade all of your first round picks. You can only trade every other first round pick. So by trading for these 3 first round picks, because they're trading with Utah has a lot of first round picks. So the way that this is going to go, it's going to be all 3 years the worst first round pick that Utah has. Matt Ishbia, he's doing a great job since that team.
How does math? How do draft? How? Why?
The math also does not work for the salary cap / luxury tax. This is gonna be like the most expensive team in NBA history, and they're currently struggling to contend for the play-in game.
For why? Why? I don't understand.
Neither does anyone in the NBA.
I always just assume it's a tax dodge.
Do crimes.
Sports in general is a tax dodge. Yeah, I believe that.
To close us out of the football season, I have written you a poem in the last 20 minutes.
Okay.
Reaching the Sea, with apologies to Alfred Lord Tennyson. Whistle and the final down, and one great fall for me. And may there be no scolding from the suits when I put out to sea. The human tide, though moving, seems asleep, driven through the thin blue line. When ardor, which drew them from out the field of victory, turns them to the brine. Bridgeward, and the final plunge, and after that the dark. And may there be no levied fines when I embark. For though from out our downs and distance the torrent may carry me, I hope to see the end zone face to face when these posts have reached the sea.